I typed the word artist in Midjourney and it generated a homeless person with a microphone. We did that. We attached the word struggle to the word artist so completely that even fucking AI learned it. And I was sitting with this image for a couple of years. And today I just decided that I'm gonna take us on a journey. I just wanna break that myth. I want to separate the word struggle from the word artist. Yes, it will be hard because it's been building up for centuries, but I'll try to do it one video at a time. On a side note, there's this curious thing I saw. 96% of people who watch this channel are not subscribed to it. So if you feel like my video is helping you, please consider subscribing. Anyway, my name is Tatyana and I'm a filmmaker, and I also run a production company, Phenomenal People, which means that I live in both sides, the artist world and the business world. And from that perspective, there's something that industry doesn't want you to hear, that artists are most disadvantaged and disempowered people in the most economically powerful industry on earth. You know, films shape fashion, music shapes identity, and just in general, visual art shapes how entire civilizations perceive and imagine themselves. Artists design the emotional architecture of the culture, and yet the person who does all the work expected to stay broke. And it's not an accident, and it's not noble. It's just a belief system. And we all know that belief systems can be rewritten. The starving artist myth is the most successful propaganda that has ever been run, because it convinced that people who are creating all the value are not expected to generate anything in return. Think about where you first heard this. Art should come from pain. Money corrupts creativity. Real artists do not think about business. And nobody points out that people who say that, those usually people who are not artists. That neighbor of yours that told your mom when you were 5 years old that her dog can draw better. And meanwhile, the global creative economy is expected to be 43 billion in ad spend. Do you really think that you cannot have a piece of it? And here's an uncomfortable truth. The I don't care about money is the product of luxury. When your parents cover the rent, if failure has no real consequences, if you can wait for 5 years to experiment, then yes, you can romanticize this. But for the rest of us, who are probably the first from their whole generation who's trying to make art as a full-time work, the choice is never about art versus commerce. The choice is about art versus survival. And survival always wins, not because you lack passion, it's because the rent is not optional. The myth doesn't punish the privileged artists, the myth punishes everyone else. When artists internalize this myth that we have to be struggling, the struggling artist, the homeless artist, the poor artist, something predictable happens. They avoid charging for their work. They're uncomfortable promoting themselves. They say things like, I'm an artist, I'm so bad with numbers. And then perfectionism arrives and it really looks like professionalism, but it's not. Perfectionism, and I've been talking about it a lot on this channel, perfectionism is a fear wearing kind of like, tailored suit. It's like pretending. And the work is never finished because finished means being visible. Finished means to be subject to judgment. To be subject to judgment always means that you might find out that some people do not care. And it's fine. So your work stays in notebooks and hard drives and those folders, like almost finished folder or like version 376. Artists stay in a preparation mode sometimes for years. And here's the thing that no one tells you, is permission is not coming. You have to come and take it. Permission is not coming. You have to come and take it. Systems do not survive for centuries by accident. They survive because they serve someone. When artists believe that they should not be paid, of course they're gonna accept unpaid work. They will give away rights. They will do things for exposure. And truly, I've been there more times than I wish to admit. So grateful for exposure. And I'm not talking about like charge gazillion dollars. I'm talking about charge a little bit. Start with small amount. I'm not talking about the passion projects, of course, or working with like your bestie friends who need your help. I'm talking about working with corporations. I'm talking about someone who reached out to you and said, we want to do this. Let's do it for exposure. It's a different thing, okay? And here's where my position as an artist and business owner comes interesting. When I pitch clients through Phenomenal People, suddenly budgets exist. Suddenly your creativity is an asset. Suddenly you can negotiate stuff. The work is the same, but now I'm positioned in the room. And it just becomes clear that it's not about that artists don't create value, it's about there's no structure to this value. So yes, exposure is the cheapest currency in this world, so stop collecting it. But there's truly something historic happening right now. For the first time, you do not need a permission from gatekeepers to reach your audience. You can reach your audience directly. You don't need label, studio, gallery. Yes, you need to work really hard for long hours, but things are fast right now. You can build community directly. You can create your own budgets. You can control your income. This isn't just a business opportunity. This is the first real shift of creative power in centuries. That century that fed the struggling artist myth. But here's the catch, it only works if your belief system is kind of ready for it. Tools change, but you know, that belief system of struggling artists still kind of running on the background, right? I watched so many artists stuck. But not because they lack talent, but because of the things they believe about themselves. So here's the replacement of the myth I'm offering you. Belief number one, you do not need permission to take your work seriously. Not from institutions, not from critics, not from anyone really. The moment you decide that your work matters, you change. And your behavior changes, and the only thing that can change your matter is how you are positioned in this world. Yes, I agree. Imperfect work that reaches people is better than perfect work that stays hidden. The internet is full of unfinished work that changed people's life. What most artists call not ready is actually that, fear of visibility. Belief number three, wanting financial freedom from your art is not selling out. Selling out is making bad work for money that you do not need. But building a sustainable life out of your creative work is an opposite of that. It is the only way that your creative life is sustainable. So let me ask the question that nobody asks. Why did we ever decided that artists should not be paid? Why did that freaking AI show me a homeless person? We take raw, invisible thing that changes people's lives and turn it into something that a stranger across the world can recognize themselves in. That is not a decoration. It can be an infrastructure, emotional infrastructure of how human beings are making sense of being alive. And our work must be compensated. On this channel, I talk a lot about psychology of an artist, about perfectionism and what keeps us from doing what we want to do, really. That invisible belief system that wrecks people's creative lives. And I know a lot of you who really want to make art, but they just can't claim it. Anyway, future does not belong to starving artists. Future belongs to Artepreneur. Peace.